Identical twins of Reddit. What's the most embarrassing situation where you've been mistaken for your twin? My brother got fired at a place we worked at. They escorted me off campus while I was eating a sub. One copy had me by the arm, and in the other arm, my hoagie. Had to call my manager to call the dogs off. In another part of our family, one twin got arrested because he kept loitering, though it was just him and his twin passing around the same area. Even went to court. I was on a blind date for over an hour before she realized I wasn't my brother. My brother has been in a committed relationship for over a year and blind date just assumed he was on this date to cheat on her. People seem to be very upset or confused by my word choice of blind date. I don't know what else to call it when you know of someone, have never met them, and a friend sets you up on a date with them. So at one point both my brother and I, twins, dates another pair of identical twins. Whenever we met each other on double dates and stuff we'd have to spend the first 30 seconds trying to make sure we hadn't all picked the wrong twin. I imagine it was quite a sight to see watching two identical couples walking down the street. Not a twin. Dated one. Gary and I had only been together about 2 months. He and his brother shared an apartment and knew I was coming over. His brother was going out for the weekend, and we were basically just gonna fuckathon all weekend. I walk in, hear water going and figure I'll be steamy and surprise him by joining him. Oliver didn't enjoy having a gay dude jump in with him and grab his junk. Understandably got punched. I guess their neighbor needed help with something and Gary went to assist them. That day I learned twins are not equally hung. That day I learned twins are not equally hung. Also, he was in the bath shower. There could have been shrinkage. Why I love telling twin stories. When I used to live at home with my parents and sister, I was blow drying my hair in our bathroom. I was in my bra and undies because gosh it gets hot in there, and I had just gotten out of the shower. I crack the door an inch to get air. I am busy drying and I see my sister's boyfriend coming into the bathroom. He wasn't over before. I was like he and when I turn he freaks because he thought it was my sister. He was at the door waiting until my sister noticed him, which backfired, because it obviously wasn't her, it was me. It was more embarrassing for him because he felt bad. Honest mistake. Other times I'll be out and about and people will come up and hug me out of nowhere. I love hugs, but it's more embarrassing for the person when they realize I'm not my sister. I don't think it's a big deal but they always are so apologetic. I actually experienced the reverse of this in high school, in that I embarrassingly mistook one twin for the other. I was in the same class as Phil throughout all of primary school. I'm from the UK and then ended up in the same form class as his twin brother Alan throughout high school. Everyone except me seemed to be able to tell them apart. They looked really similar. So one day in high school I'm in a science class with Alan. Keep in mind this is a mixed class so we're not with our usual form class groups and I'm seated on the same table as him and another student. This other student brings up how similar they look and how he always used the get them mixed up in primary school. I pipe up with really. I figured out how to tell them apart because I remember that Phil always had a longer and chubbier face haha. They both sat there looking at me like I'm an idiot until Alan shouts, "I am Phil. We've been in the same science class all year." I didn't even realize and just assumed it was Alan lol. Everyone continued to think I was pretty stupid. I know the feeling. I went to a school with only 150 students, and at one point had 3 sets of twins in my class. Despite knowing most of them for several years, I had the worst time telling them apart even though everyone else could. Awkward every day. In senior year of high school, my brother and I decided that it would be funny to do the old switcheroo. The teachers at our school always had a really hard time differentiating us because our similar mannerisms and obviously our identical physical features. My brother sailed through in my class, photography, with no incident. However, I got caught. Reason? Because I was working extremely hard on the in-class assignment to avoid detection while in reality, my brother never did anything in class but goofed around. Not a twin but married to one. However, I didn't know he was a twin when we first met. I was at a bar with a co-worker who introduced me to a few of her boyfriend's friends. One guy in particular was really cute, but after getting a chance to talk to him I saw he had a wedding ring. Since that's not my style I basically lost all interest. Then a few weeks later the same co-worker invited me over for a BBQ. I had a couple drinks and then see the same guy I had met at the bar was there, but this time no ring. Obviously I was confused, so I asked my co-worker about him, to which he laughed and said, "Oh, that's his twin. He's single." I thought I had hit the jackpot, because honestly, what are the chances? My husband's brother still gives me a hard time about thinking he was cute first. My two friends are twins. One boy, one girl. We rented a house in Wildwood, NJ after our senior prom. The girl twin brought her BF and the boy twin brought his GF. Me and the boy twin were sitting on the couch of the house when the girl twin's BF came home from a run, leaned over the couch and gave the boy twin a kiss. Hello. He didn't realize what happened until he stood up. It was hysterical to me because the twins resemble each other but not enough to make that mistake. I'm not sure if my GF or her twin brother. Better kiss him again. I'm a fraternal twin. My twin sister and I only start looking alike if you study our faces. Me equals brown hair, brown eyes, beard. Her equals dishwater blonde, blue eyes, no beard. In HS people always thought we were dating. Now people always think we're married. Dishwater blonde is a pretty common term. People, E2. For those of you who keep saying, that's not a term, or I've never heard it before, try reading a freaking book. Not really about me or even an embarrassing story, but my graduating class in high school had 11 sets of twins. 11. And 1 set of triplets. Not a twin, but I accidentally verbally abused one. A girl I was friends with in school, she was a few grades below me, was crying one day before school. I asked her why. She told me another girl in her grade was being super nasty to her. Me being the overprotective friend went up to the bully and gave her a piece of my mind. When she started crying I said, "Don't freaking play all innocent with me. I know what you've been doing." This was in the middle of the school grounds with everyone watching, by the way. Would have been helpful if my friend said the bully had a twin sister who was really nice to her. My cousin and I regularly passed as twins in school. First parents' evening of the year, I see the head of year marching up to my aunt. My mum was facing my teacher at the time, with her back turned to the scene, so I sat there curiously trying to gauge what the drama was about. The head of year didn't look happy and my aunt was outraged by what she was saying, and then I saw my cousin point towards me. Parents' evening didn't go well and I stopped screwing around as much in class. My boyfriend has a twin. So shortly after my grandparents met him, they saw him out to breakfast with a woman that wasn't me. So of course my grandma thinks he's two-timing me. But as with all twin stories, it was his twin brother and his girlfriend, now wife. So now my grandma loves to tell that story, haha. I am one of those idiots who's ran onto a football field during a game. Was bet I couldn't touch the goalpost and make it off the field before security got me. I managed to not only touch the goalpost but escape security and get out of the stadium before being caught by police. Unfortunately for my twin, he was still in the stadium. They were convinced he was the moron who was just on the field. Poor guy got yelled at for 15 minutes and almost ejected before finally convincing them he's a twin. Actually, I have another story about me and my sister. Once we went to a new high school together and we had the same pay class. Let me tell you, the pay teacher was a creep. He would make us do stretches and put his hands all over us to position our bodies correctly, and I eventually ended up complaining loudly enough about this that he was told to just not teach our class anymore. Regardless, one day he told me to do push-ups and I was feeling particularly rebellious, so I told him I would not. And when he kicked up a fuss about me questioning his authority, I told him, "Yeah, because you're creepy and I am not comfortable doing push-ups with you standing there watching me, so I'm not going to." Fast forward to the end of semester. On our reports we got grades for our politeness in the class. My sister got a horrible mark. My twin is gay, I'm not. Guys keep walking up to me on the street hitting on me and telling me how great I was in bed. I think my twin is a S. A friend of mine, M30, has an identical twin. Once while shopping, a gay couple came up to him in the mall and thanked him for the wonderful time they had with him and his husband last month, and couldn't wait to get down again. Until this point he didn't know his twin was gay, or a swinger. I'm the straight twin. He's the gay twin. More than once I've gotten big, steamy hugs from Tipsy, Bearish men. Could be worse. But the top moment was when I was talking to a girl in a bar, went to get us drinks, and her gay friend told her I was incredible at sucking dong. She brought it up later, just as I was putting my arm around her shoulders on the walk to her car. Awkward. Out of the office. Also, when we were in the military, they stuck us on facing desks just like in Good Morning Vietnam. Once a dude came in for recruiting, did a double take, and asked if we were twins. We both affected a haunted look and said, at the same time, no, we never met before the army. Over time, you just start to all look the same. He did not join. My cousins are identical twins. Even though I've known them for 34 years, I still can't tell them apart. They were both nurses at the same hospital in their 20s when one started dating a doctor. After a couple of dates, she realized that they weren't compatible and convinced her sister to go on the next date and break up with him as the doctor was persistent. The second sister and the doctor fell in love and married soon after. It's not terribly awkward at family gatherings, but I can imagine everyone secretly wondering whether the doctor had physical relations with both sisters. I'm not a twin, but my grandfather is. At my grandmother's funeral, my grandfather's twin brother attended. He was in the second row from the front. The local little old ladies sitting in the back were quite offended that my grandfather was forced to sit in the second row of his own wife's funeral. I'm an identical twin. Have been my whole life. We did pranks and whatnot, but mostly maintained our individuality. Only time I recall being embarrassed was when the two of us started working for our dad on construction. Just a gig to keep the PS2 games flowing, yeah. Anyway, there was a tucker box everyone on site would go to, and we'd hit on the ladies working there. They'd flirt back. There's no tip culture in Australia, BTW. Being salacious is just how people are. One night I'm getting my drink on at literally the only club in town. This place that would play nothing but R&B underneath the local RSL. The tucker box ladies were present, and they were in fine form. So I start catching up, hammering vodkas, and I tell my mates I'm gonna go dance with them. One of the ladies in question doesn't even pause when she sees me coming. She's onto that crap. Bear in mind I'm not good looking or whatever. I scanned my face into NBA 2K17 and it made a generic white dude with Owen Wilson nose. But working construction, you get hectic tan and a decent physique, and that can bridge quite a few gaps. Anyway, this lady is on me in a heartbeat, and she is dancing nasty like. The woman I was actually interested in was nearby in the dancing circle, but this chick was on me. She was gorgeous and my friends were egging me on like I was a god, so I got into it. Crap is escalating hardcore. We are making out on the dance floor, off the dance floor, against a wall, and she goes, okay, my brother's name, let's get out of here. My heart sank a little, because I'd been trading on my bro's hard work. I'm also super embarrassed, because what if she thinks I deceived her? We'd never be able to go to that lunch place again. The guys on the site wouldn't like that. I'm full Larry Daviding out over here, but I own up to it anyway. Actually, I'm Jobba Jojo, I told her, and she replied, what? Who cares? You're the same. So I went home with her. I am not a twin myself, but I am friends with twins. So, I know these two twin guys, and one of them happens to be gay and is going out with someone. He neglected to tell his brother either of these facts, as well as never told his boyfriend he was a twin as well. Anyway, one day, the straight twin and I are walking through the mall and this guy comes up to my friend and says something like, hey sweetie, how's it going, and then just full on kisses my friend. My friend almost punched the guy, but luckily realized he was being mistaken for his twin. He explained that he was not in fact his twin, and the guy literally looked like he was going to die from embarrassment at this realization. My friend and I assured him it was okay and that it was an honest mistake. We all laughed about it after. When my friend got home, he found his brother and, after taking him to a quiet, secluded room, cause he wasn't sure if anyone else knew yet, he told him the story of that day and asked him if he was gay. He confirmed it and they ended up having a good bro moment out of it. What's even better is that this situation made them really close as brothers, whereas before, they could barely stand being in the same room with each other. TLDR. My friend got mistaken for his gay twin by his boyfriend, and that's how my friend found out his twin was gay. I had a twin in high school. We had the same first name and looked exactly alike. So much so that people thought we were twins, and we just told people we were adopted separately at birth and both parents named us the same first name coincidentally. Fast forward years later, this girl comes up and starts chatting me up like we are old friends. I'm trying to place her, but for the life of me have no idea who this chick is, but I go along with it. Well, we get drunk, end up at my house and go at it like drunken rabbits. Next morning she wakes up and we get to talking again. She compliments me on my new place, and I tell her I've been here for years. She says something to the effect of, "Oh, you aren't last name of my twin." I laughed and told her no, I haven't seen him in years, but I'll have to thank him next time I see him. She laughed and OMG'd. We hung out for a bit and then left. Never did thank him or see her again, but was a great mistaken identity. About 5 years ago I worked at Steak and Shake and my GF at the time worked at Walmart. We both got our jobs at the same time and we'd tell each other work stories when we got home. We both really liked one of our co-workers, so we'd talk about them a lot. Skip to about a month into our new jobs when we're at Walmart shopping. She goes, "Hey, I want to finally introduce you to T. He's working today." She brings me to her station. Lo and behold, it's the same guy I work with that I really like. I was like, no, the dude's name is Jay and he is awesome. Except it wasn't. Turns out they were identical twins and we just happened to work with both of them, be close with both of them, and eventually hang out with them constantly. Turned out one even lived in the same complex as us. Eventually both my GF and T started working at SNS. But we'd known T and J long enough that they didn't look similar to us anymore. Totally different. But it was fun to watch others mess up. In our defense though, they tried really hard to be different than each other. Not even FB friends. Just brothers, nowhere near identical. But one evening in a supermarket parking lot a guy yelled from his car, "Connor, that's my brother." I yelled back, "Oh," he said, "wanna buy some mushrooms?" Typical Upper Hutt. So I have an identical twin sister and one time we were fighting over the same boy, and crap got real. Literally she straight up crapped diarrhea in her pants in front of him and a bunch of other classmates while pretending to be me. She started saying, "OMG, I think I crap myself. Go get herself. I need blah blah blah." My whole senior year I, rarely her, got teased about the most embarrassing moment of my life and it didn't even happen to me. U0 Paladin. I shall tell the tale of the football team. So, I'm in a new school after moving to the big city to live with my dad. My twin brother has already been going to this school for a year now. Anyways, I get cornered by 3 guys, all from the senior football team. The big one accused me of hitting on his girlfriend. I told him he had the wrong guy, and I have no idea who his girlfriend even was. Of course, he didn't believe me. I can see his 2 linebackers a few feet behind him. Now confused as to why my butt isn't being handed to me, I pull out my student id. Uakutology. He took a look, then up at me, then back down at the id. He handed back my id. "I am so sorry, man." We shook hands, had a laugh at the whole situation. His 2 buddies just mouthed, "What the frick?" It was great. He asked me where he could find my brother. I told him. I also told him not to hurt him, but has my full permission to scare the crap out of him. I had many more twin moments that year. It was interesting. A friend of the family has an identical twin that I hadn't met yet. We were out somewhere when I was about 5 and I ran up to him and hopped on his knee and started talking about the things a 5-year-old talks to a family friend about, and he was very confused. Turns out it was the twin who also didn't know my family. My parents had a laugh and we made friends with that guy too. I actually see him occasionally since he lives in the same city as I do now, which is nice. Identical twin here. I was teenager, walking to parking lot from my friend's place. Walked past McDonald's. Hear someone yell at me, "Hey hey," my twin bro's name. Few times, I turn around. This beautiful girl came close. Told me that she loved me, my twin bro. etc goes on and on. I was just so amused that somebody just told me that I love you, as I am the silent one and my twin bro ain't. He's good with ladies. Moment later, I recovered from the shock and awe, crashed back to ground and said, "Sorry, but I am not twin bro's name. He's my identical twin brother and I am my name." That moment When she realized that she told lots of things to me, probably took time to get courage to say it out loud, was heartbreaking. She just stood there, watching me in confused state, laughed, then bursted on full cry. I did not have even time to tell her that I can give his number and he's just close by. But no, she turned away, started running like madman and yelled to her friends, "He was wrong one, he was wrong one," and cried along her way back. And I just stood there, thinking what the heck happened. I bet if she reads this, she will remember it. She was Israel descent living in Northern Europe. So sorry to you. I bet it did take time to cover from that. On side note, my brother was P as heck cause of this mishap. The time some girl I ran into at a store tried talking to me and I went through the same old explanation I've had to use in the past. "Oh, you must know my twin sister yada yada." And they interrupted me to say that, no, they know me. Bulletproof 123, from workplaces, where my sister does not work. So embarrassing. I just didn't recognize her because we weren't at our workplace. I know a set of identical twin men, one of whom is gay and one of whom is straight. They both work as bartenders in different bars and occasionally get accosted by one another's prior conquests. There have been multiple occasions where my girlfriend has grabbed my twin brother's butt. She was mortified both times and we won't let her forget it. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.